Hey, what's going on, Seminole Nation? It's CJ Wilson here with DoakTalk. I have some breaking news, some very exciting news on this Saturday. This news here just made my weekend thus far. FSU lands big time five-star commit for the 2026 recruiting cycle. Brady Smigiel out of California. Again, FSU lands big time, big time, big time QB for the 2026 recruiting cycle. Top five QB overall consensus, five-star on certain services. Man, this kid is big time. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's get into it. 6'5", 205 pounds. He's from California. This kid is a rising junior for the 2026 class, and he has an elite talent. Through the first couple of years on campus, he's thrown for 7,700 yards and 98 touchdowns. Like I said, he's only played 2 years. He has his junior to come this upcoming year and things like that. I love this kid's film. If you look at it, the arm talent is crazy, off the charts. He stands in the pocket, doesn't mind taking hits or anything like that, and drops dimes. He doesn't mind taking risks too because he believes in his arm and his accuracy that much. Just kind of going back to the recruiting process of this for Brady Smigiel, he took an unofficial visit to FSU over the spring, and he was blown away by the visit. Blown away. Had nothing but raving reviews to say about Mike Norvell, the FSU staff itself, Tony Tokarz, the quarterback's coach, and of course Tallahassee in the situation. So long story short, he ended up taking that visit. Was on campus again this past week for 2 days before he gets over to Jacksonville for the elite camp for the rivals camp, in Jacksonville, Florida. So took another visit during this summer, or during this week rather, and decided that FSU was the spot for him. The dominoes are kind of falling a lot for these 2026 quarterbacks. Michigan and University of Washington were other schools he was considering for his recruiting services. I think Michigan and Florida State was pretty much the top two schools. Michigan rather ended up taking a commitment from Brady Hart, the quarterback out of Cocoa Beach, Florida, and that opened the doors for Brady Smigiel. Like I said, my personal favorite quarterback for this 26 class. The arm is just crazy. Looking at the quarterbacks that we brought in thus far under Mike Norvell, and I'm very high on Luke Cromahawk and things like that. But I think from a potential standpoint of just overall talent, Brady Smigiel may be the best quarterback the FSU has. We haven't signed just yet. We have a long way to go for that. But if everything does point to him signing, I do think Brady Smigiel will be the best quarterback the FSU has signed so far to this point in time during the Mike Norvell's tenure. Big time quarterback. I think he has day one draft potential if things continue to develop for him. Like I say, 6'5", 25 pounds right now. Arm is just crazy. You look at the clips in this huddle that we're posting, you'll understand why me personally, I'm so excited for this recruitment here. So I want to give a shout out to Mike Norvell and Tony Tokarz, man. They've done a hell of a job in flipping this quarterback room. Just to give you some of the names they brought in over the years. Let's start with Brock Glenn. He was originally committed to Ohio State. FSU brought him in. Luke Cromahawk, big time playmaker. I think Luke has day one potential as well. Big time playmaker, crazy arm. And you also have Trevor Jackson, who they brought in along with Luke Cromahawk. Both of those guys were Elite 11 talents along with Brock Glenn. And then we have Tramel Jones for the 2025 class, who, again, another elite talent that was at the Elite 11, was finished sixth at the Elite 11 this upcoming year. And Brady Smigiel, who I have no doubt would be within that conversation as well. Like I said, he's one of the top quarterbacks within this recruiting cycle, for his recruiting cycle. So those are very elite talented quarterbacks that FSU and Tony Tokarz have brought in over the few short cycles. And it's ironic that literally every last one of these quarterbacks that I named went over to the Elite 11 and competed at that event. So they have a very good eye for talent. Want to give a shout out to Derek Ray and Ryan Bartow. Those two guys were very instrumental in the Brady Smigiel recruitment. Of course, Derek Ray is big time in California, has a lot of ties to California. And Ryan Bartow has some family ties to Brady and was recruiting him as well. So those two guys were very key pieces in this recruitment, along with Tony Tokarz and Mike Norvell going to close the deal. So again, make sure you guys lock in with DoakTalk. It's some very exciting news. This quarterback is like that. He really is like that. My favorite quarterback out of the 2026 recruiting cycle. And FSU is after some heavy hitters at quarterback for that cycle, bringing in a lot of guys on camps and multiple 5-stars and things like that. In my personal opinion, Brady was the best out of the bunch. So make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, go Noles. Very exciting times, and the recruiting momentum should be picking up for FSU very soon.